What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I'm out here on the run, getting things done. I'm on a street that's bumpy, so bear with me if there's a bit more rattling than usual. But let's get into the topic at hand. Michelle Obama and her big brother, her elder brother, they've got a podcast now. It's called IMO, and I've heard a lot about it. Nothing really good, but I've heard a lot about it nonetheless. And I went to go check it out for myself. I just kind of watched a bit of the first episode, and no, it's not great. It's definitely not great. I'm not as critical as some other people have been about it, but no, it's not great. It could use some fixing. It has the potential to be there because she's the former first lady, so it has the potential to be successful. But are they going to make the necessary adjustments? That's the thing. It's supposed to have some guests on there coming up. They haven't so far, but they're supposed to have some guests. I think the first guest episode either just dropped or is about to drop soon. So we'll see how that goes. But just the two of them conversing, it's just not that interesting. The type of stuff that they were talking about, it doesn't seem natural. It seems very awkward. We've seen siblings do different podcasts or whatever, like the Paul brothers, and just, I don't know, that's something, that it factor that others have. It's just not there. It's absent. The two of them, they're kind of boring in the way they speak, in the topics that they choose to talk about. They just kind of roll from one thing to another, but none of the things are really all that interesting. I looked to see her subscriber count. It looked like she had about 39,000 somewhere in that, which is definitely more than me, but I just figured she would have a whole lot more than that given who she is. As I said, this is a former first lady, so you would think that there'd be more interest in a podcast with her and her brother in it than has been displayed so far. The first episode has quite a bit of views. It does. It's got quite a bit of views, but I think that's just people being curious, checking it out to see what's happening there. It's like, okay, she's got a podcast. Let's check it out. When you go to all the other episodes or just videos in general, because they're not all podcast episodes, it tapers off pretty darn quick. So it's just not looking good for somebody with this level of visibility, for someone with this level of celebrity, because she does have a good amount of celebrity. She's the wife of a former president, the first black president, first mulatto president, if you ask Morgan Freeman. But she's the wife of a former president nonetheless, a first lady. So you just would think that there would be a lot more interest. Why aren't the liberals who were cheering her on during the rallies where she was telling women to go against their husbands and vote for Kamala Harris, why aren't they showing up to watch this? Because it's enough of them, right? If you look at those rallies, how packed they would be, or how packed they appeared, it is enough of those like-minded folks who seem to really love the stuff that Michelle Obama has to say to make it a success. But as it is right now, I don't know, man. It's crazy to me that I could have a random video and it possibly get more views than hers. Like, I do have a couple, like 20,000 view videos, which isn't great, but it's like I'm inching up to getting the viewership that they're getting, and they have way more visibility than I do. Her brother, I've never known of him before. Apparently he's been around, he's done stuff. She said he's an actor and an author and whatever. That's cool, but it's just really strange that between the two of you, for you to have lived these very interesting lives that you supposedly have lived, especially Michelle Obama, that you just don't have more interesting things to talk about, more interesting things to say. They're not really that funny. They try to do a little bit of humor here and there, and the jokes don't really land. Just, I don't know. I don't know who this podcast is for. And I'm not hating on them by any means. I don't wish them failure. I would like them to be successful. Hey, I want all of us that's trying to be successful to be successful. I'm in the content creation space myself. I'm a lot smaller, a lot more invisible, but I still wouldn't root for somebody else that's in the same space to fail. No, I want them to be successful as well, because maybe they can figure out a formula that I can borrow a few things from. I definitely borrow from different content creators that I watch. I borrow here and there. Even in my intro, when I say appreciate you guys connected with me, you know, I'm sure you guys know the Detroit creator who I borrowed that from, and if he's seen any of my videos right out the gate when he heard that, he probably was like, yeah. But that's cool though. That's cool that you can influence people, and you know, you can inspire them to try different things. So I wish them the best, because I think the more content that's available for all of us on YouTube, the better. I don't think it's good for just a handful of people to just be dominant. I think it's really good to have lots of options, and I think that competition also it brings out better results. People tend to do better. If I had to pick out one thing though about their podcast, what's wrong with it, it's them. And what I mean by that is, you have two people that are not hungry and they don't need the money. So it's like they're just doing this podcast because they're bored. They just one day were like, hey, let's do a podcast. They don't seem very passionate about it. It's like, well, no, I'm not going to use that example, but it's, you know, when people are hungry and when they're not. And these are people that have been rich for a long time, and they're starting a new venture and they're just not passionate about it. That's basically what I got from it. But just because you're not passionate about something doesn't mean you can't be efficient at it. Right now, they're still figuring out how to be efficient. I wish them the best though. Let me know what you guys think about it. Hit me in them comments. I'll holler at y'all soon. Peace.